Ever have one of those days where you wake up, lose your job, get peer pressured into a potential felony, and somehow still don't get to enjoy a bowl of Captain Crunch in peace? Welcome to Friday, the only movie that proves you can do absolutely nothing all day and still end up in a street fight, fall in love, and somehow become the neighborhood hero, all without leaving your front porch.
Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Danielle, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies of the late 90s and early 2000s. And this week we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Ice Cube classic Friday, just in time for 420 as well. But before we dive in, let's get into some housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
I love that we'll be able to explain this very soon.
I know.
If you love the podcast and you want to support us, here's a few ways that you can.
You can buy us a cup of coffee on ko-fi. Every contribution helps us keep the Blockbuster vibes alive. Visit us at ko-fi.com/no more late fees.
Looking for some nostalgic merch? Check out our Amazon store for curated picks, inspired finds, and more. Just head to amazon.com/shop/no more late fees podcast.
And if you want more hot takes, deep dives, and behind the scenes fun, join our Patreon for exclusive bonus episodes and perks at patreon.com/no more late fees and become a bestie.
Well, we couldn't do this classic without a little help from a friend or cousin. Welcome back, Marc. We're so excited to have you.
What's going on? What's going on?
So excited. I'm so happy that you're back on. I have a blast every time you join us. So keep the stoner vibes alive.
Always, always. Over again.
Yeah, totally. And if you want to learn more about Marc, check out his previous episodes on Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Eurotrip. Plus, you won't want to miss this week's bonus episode where we rank our favorite stoner classics and discuss the perfect millennial way to spend a Friday.
Well, let's get into Friday. On an unusually eventful Friday in South Central LA, recently unemployed Craig teams up with his hilariously high best friend Smokey for a day of porch sitting gone wrong. What starts as a chill hang quickly spirals into chaos when Smokey reveals he smoked all the weed that he was actually supposed to sell, leaving them both owing money to the menacing dealer named Big Worm. As the day unfolds, they dodge bullets, neighborhood drama, and one very angry, creaking bicycle riding Deebo, all while trying to survive until Saturday. Packed with laughs, iconic lines, and a vibe that screams 90s, Friday is a comedic classic about friendship, foolishness, and figuring it out one puff at a time. The movie stars Ice Cube, Chris Tucker, Nia Long, Tommy Lister Jr., John Witherspoon, Anna Maria Horsford, and Regina King. The movie was directed by F. Gary Gray. It was written by Ice Cube and DJ Pooh, and you can currently watch it on Netflix and Max. But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
So you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we'll reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves would give. And then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it again,
The best would play on repeat,
5-day rental,
would watch again.
2-day rental,
Nah, it's all right, but nothing to write home about.
and same-day rental.
Kick that can over. It's fucking trash.
So, Marc, what is your Y2K rating of Friday?
I would buy it again. Hands down.
Danielle?
I would get my black card revoked if I said on anything other than would buy it again. How about you, Jackie?
I've never seen this movie, Danielle.
Jesus, the hell. When I was watching this, I said, "Nah, Jesus, there ain't no way she ain't. Nah, she ain't. Nah."
I haven't. I'm sorry. I know
Wow.
I know all the parts to it. Like I've seen enough clips to put it together.
Did,
I've never this weekend was the first time.
has Ken seen it?
I don't know, but his best friend Dave was very excited to watch it with us because it was one of his favorite movies and he
Uh,
quoted it the whole time. So
Yeah.
I watched it with a fan.
Oh man. Well, this is going to be interesting. Wow. All right. Hey.
Never seen. Wow.
I know.
Friday.
I've got gaps in my movie knowledge.
Well, let's
I
get
said
into.
Uncle
Oh, go
Uncle Chris
ahead.
did it. Not one time. Nothing. No.
No.
Ask Johnny and Heather if they've seen it. And
Okay.
if they
On
haven't,
it.
you tell them it's a family assignment because this ain't flying around here. I've got money Keith has seen it. I feel like Johnny
Yeah.
might see it. Let me take my bets. Keith has seen it. Johnny's seen it. I don't know. Heather's 50-50 for me right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna say she hasn't. I know Mama Terry ain't seen
She should.
it. Right. Tell her to light it
I
up.
feel like Jackie should have saw it. Like what?
Yeah.
What?
Like,
Yeah. I can't wait to talk to Nick about this. This is like
uh,
such a Cali movie too.
I know. I don't know what happened.
All right. Well, in the burn book, I'm putting Jackie not seeing
That's
Friday.
fine. I'll allow it.
All right. So this movie had a budget of $3.5 million and a worldwide gross of 27.4 million, which I'm actually quite surprised it's not more. Like, I just feel like from VHS alone and the amount of times this shit was on TBS, BET, it was always on TV. Always. So I'm
Yeah.
surprised it's not more money. But at the time when it came out, it was number two. While You Were Sleeping came out was in first place. Friday came out in second place. Bad Boys in third, and Rob Roy in fourth. That one's odd. And Village of the Dam at number five. Like I said, it premiered at number two at the box office its opening weekend, and it stayed in theaters for over 3 months. It got mixed reviews. Jay Carr from the Boston Globe said Friday is funnier and funkier than Bad Boys, more homegrown seeming, less manufactured. It plays like House Party with attitude. Mike LaSalle from San Francisco Chronicle said it takes about 20 minutes to catch on that Friday is without narrative drive and about as long to figure out that the film offers nothing better in place of it. Look, you either get it or you don't.
It's
That
true.
like what are you fucking talking about? Mick, sorry I said Mike. Mick LaSalle, suck a dick. And before we get into cast and crew, let's hear a message from our pod pals.
Stoner Chicks. We're four friends who met through comedy and bonded through weed. I'm Grace Penzel.
I'm Kayla Teal. I'm Stephanie Thompson.
I'm Phoebe Richards.
If you love smoking weed and laughing with your friends, this podcast is for you.
Subscribe now to Stoner Chicks wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm gonna look this motherfucker up. Like, what are you even saying? You don't even fucking know what you're saying.
Okay. Johnny has responded. He has seen Friday.
Yep.
Johnny. Yeah.
No question about it.
So cast and crew.
Yeah, Mick LaSalle looks exactly the way I thought he would. Mother trucker.
Oh, Heather said only a part or two that I can remember.
50-50. I'm right on the money. Let's see.
Keith for sure, right?
I'm assuming.
Did you ask if you've seen it?
I sent it to the full family chat,
Oh,
so
okay.
waiting.
All right. Let's get into cast and crew. I don't know. Is this F. Gary Gray's like directorial debut? I don't know why I think it is. Let me check.
Um,
He came from directing like music videos and stuff, which is I'm sure how like Ice Cube. Yeah, he did Ice Cube's music videos and Dr. Dre's.
yeah, it did say his feature film directorial debut was
Yeah.
Comedy Friday.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. He also did TLC's Waterfalls. I could just don't go chasing waterfalls. Yeah. 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 Well, there's so many. He did the I Believe in You and Me video for Whitney Houston. Damn. Didn't know that. Okay, let me get back. Focus. ADHD. So yes, this was F. Gary Gray's like directorial debut. And he also makes a cameo in the movie. He plays the man mopping the floor in the store when they go to the corner store, which I want to talk about some stuff that happens in that scene, but we'll get
There's
to it.
there's a lot that happens in a short period of time at that corner store.
Yeah.
DJ Pooh, who plays Red in the film, was originally set to play Smokey. However, New Line Cinema pressed producers for a better known actor, reaching a deal with Chris Tucker.
Let me say something.
Tell me.
I know that, like, as a community, I think we were all really upset when he didn't come back for next Friday. It worked out, like, it is what it is, but the man played the hell out of them. I mean, like, you forget sometimes Ice Cube's even in the fucking movie. Like, it is his time to shine.
And almost all of his lines were improvised.
Yeah, and they're fucking the most quotable things in this movie. It,
And Smokey walks so Ruby Rod could run. Like he,
well, which one did he do first? I
he
thought
did
he did.
Friday first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
Well,
Fifth Element was 97. So like yeah, I'm like, this is just Smokey, like Ruby Rod in Compton. Like there's or Ruby Rod is just Smokey in space.
yeah. What else do we got?
Before Chris Tucker was cast, they were also considering Chris Rock and Tommy Davidson for the role of Smokey. Tommy Davidson, I can see. I don't think it would have been as good,
Mm-mm,
but I could see it. Chris Rock, no.
absolutely not. You know, like,
No.
and it's so hard to even like. I remember just loving Chris Rock so much, or
Hmm.
in the earlier days, and now I just like don't like him now. So it's like, hell no. There was literally no other person that could have played this role.
No.
No, no, not in the slightest. This was an uncredited theatrical movie debut of Michael Clark Duncan. Like I've seen this movie so many times, and I was like, what? Wait a minute. He appeared as one of the craps players in the flashback where Red gets punched by Deebo. I totally missed him.
I clocked him immediately. I was like, is that Michael Clark Duncan? And then I had to like IMDb. I was like, oh, it was.
I missed that. Wow. Gotta watch it again.
I mean, we also see a very young Megan Good in this movie. I think this is one of her first movies where she's at the ice cream truck with the kids. She's got like a
Hmm.
backwards hat. What else? According to Kathleen Bradley, she was immediately considered for the role of sultry Miss Parker when Ice Cube saw her on The Price is Right, where she was one of the Barker's beauties at the time. He pointed her out to his production company, said, I want that sister. Bradley was 43 years old at the time of filming.
Love it.
She looked damn good in them
Shit.
cooter cutters for sure. Her titties looked like they were gonna pop out at any moment.
They really did. She was Stacy's mom before Stacy's mom.
For sure. I'm like, that grass is wet, bitch. Like, get
There was no
inside.
grass. It was
Oh, it's
dirt
dirt.
and one like lilac plant or something. Like we were like, what is she watering? Ice Cube told John Witherspoon a year before filming that he's writing a movie and he wants Witherspoon to be his father. again, there was no one else that could have played that role.
Not in the slightest. According to AJ Johnson, the character Izal was initially going to be played by Tommy Davidson. However, after Davidson was unable to fulfill the role, AJ stepped in and played the neighborhood crackhead. He said that he based the character around his brother, who was an addict, and explained some of the craziest moments dealing with his brother. One story in particular AJ recounted was hitting his brother with a car and seeing his brother bounce right up as if nothing happened. Not surprised. My dad, rest in peace, used to say to me, and I think I even have it in a Facebook message that he sent me. He's like, "Remember, honey, telling me the difference between a crackhead and a heroin user. A heroin user will lean and never fall. You will never see them fall." And it's crazy. He would take me to where they would go, what is it, the methadone, whatever clinic that
Methadone
was.
clinic.
Methadone
He would
clinic, yeah.
take me to where you would see them outside, and he said, "See how they leaning? They ain't never gonna fall. That's how you know the difference. Crackhead gonna get hit, gonna fall, but them heroin ones, they just leaning."
Well, and now you have the Fenty Fold where they just kind of hang there.
Not
Yeah,
the
it's the same
Fenty
thing pretty
Fold.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I was watching an interview with John Witherspoon, and he was saying, I'm assuming it's true because he said it, but most of them were only paid like $5,000 to do the movie. So that was kind
Oh,
of a big
wow.
reason Chris Tucker is Rush Hour and all those good movies coming right after, and part of it was
I'm
they
sure
I guess
they,
they some of them didn't get paid what they probably wanted or deserved, but
I mean, this was an indie film, and like, Ice Cube is a passion project. He was writing himself, and I think a lot of people signed on because they believed in, they were cool with Ice Cube and stuff like that. And I'm hoping they got residual checks from this.
Hopefully, yeah, it
Yeah.
was written in there
I
that they got royalties.
Yeah.
Ice Cube seems like he wouldn't completely fuck people over like that, but I
Yeah,
don't know him personally.
I don't think so. Like I haven't heard like bad things about Ice Cube, and a lot of these people have worked with him again.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that continually work with him, which is interesting because he said that like he and DJ Pooh kind of based this movie off of Clerks in the sense that it like happened just over the course of one day,
Hmm.
mostly in one location. But you can also see that in that he works with a lot of the same people over and over and over again. Neil Long, Regina King, he's been in a couple movies with. So it seems like once he finds actors and actresses that they work well, they come back and work with him again. And even on our beauty shop episode, we talked about how Queen Latifah like called him just to be like, "Are you cool with me doing this spin-off? Like, we don't need your permission, but I'd like your blessing on it. I don't want
Right.
to do it without talking to you about it." And he was like, "Yeah, go do it." So it sounds like he wants to make sure that like others have those opportunities too and do what's best for them. So,
Yeah, but even stuff he's doing now, like I know he does that like the Big Three basketball league or whatever. So he's
Hmm.
giving other people opportunities to keep playing the game. And from what I understand, they make pretty good money doing it. It's like on ESPN and a couple years going now. So yeah, he's doing. Like I said, he seems very like he would you would think he would give money to the people if it did as well as it has. So
yeah.
Yeah. Ice Cube said that, according to the internet, Ice Cube said that Chris Tucker turned down $12 million for the role in the Friday sequel due to quote unquote religious reasons. He is like hyper Christian, I think.
I remember seeing something. Maybe it was in that same interview with John Witherspoon, but about like Friday, like the image of Smokey just being a pothead and stuff like that. He didn't
Mm,
really want that to be his image, so he went obviously. Again, I go to Rush Hour right around the same time, where obviously he's like a crime fighting undercover agent and all that stuff. So I mean, I guess that makes sense if that's what you don't, you don't want your image to be, but
Yeah.
$12 million in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. He tweeted we were ready to pay Chris 10 to $12 million to do next Friday, but he turned us down for religious reasons. Cube tweeted in response to a fan who thought the dispute was because of money. Apparently, Chris didn't want, like you said, to cuss or smoke weed on camera anymore. So,
That's fair.
yeah. And like you were saying, it came up because Faison Love, who played Big Worm, recently told a news site that he was only paid 2,500 for his part as Big Worm. So, and Love wrote, "What I got paid is a moot point. It was the price of admission to a game. I have zero regrets. Actually, I want to take this time to thank Cube, DJ Pooh, and Felix Gary Gray for letting me be a part of such an iconic picture. I truly have nothing but love for these brothers."
That's
Like,
nice.
yeah, because it's not like they had a big budget and he just
Yeah.
didn't pay people. Like, it was a true indie. It's one of the few indies that like skyrocketed from such a small $3 million. Like,
Yeah.
that's a crazy amount of money.
What movie did we just do where we're like it's all like set in one place and like the budget was like $30 million? Was it Whatever It Takes where we're like where
Yeah,
is this budget?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Another thing I saw too was the time that it took to shoot the movie, I believe, was very quick too. Like they didn't take a crazy amount of time to shoot all the scenes for the movie. I don't have the exact number, but I think it was like
I
a month or
think
two, maybe.
I think it was 20 days. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild. I can't memorize all of them words. 20 days.
I like that Ice Cube had said that this movie was written specifically to show a different side of the hood. After the success of Boys in the Hood, most films depicted the projects as frightening, violent places with widespread drug use and constant death. Ice Cube wanted to show that although there was drug use and gun violence on occasion, the hood could also be a lighthearted and humorous place.
And that's really, really true. Like when I think about different environments that I got exposed to that were in places that maybe were considered the hood or dangerous, quote unquote, places. I'm not saying it wasn't dangerous. There are things that you need to know to like make sure you're staying out of trouble, but
Hmm.
like these are just people,
Yep.
living their lives and having fun, being funny. There's their own rules to the situation. And I do think like especially in LA, all the violence that was happening and the undercurrent of it all made people stereotype Black people in general, but also in from a California standpoint. So I am glad that he made this movie because it yes, there was a drive-by situation, but it wasn't like everybody else was going to work, having families, living their life,
Yep.
so it wasn't always like that. And I think people miss giving the context on how the situation happened in the first place, like where the violence came from, where the drugs came from. Like it's not something that just happened naturally in these communities. And I think that's always missing with these conversations. So it was good to like give people, especially white people, a glimpse outside of, there's other stuff happening. So let's get into it, Jackie, with where we start off.
So we start off with an alarm clock. And so it's Friday morning. Craig, played by Ice Cube, wakes up. We get through some exposition that he lost his job on his day off yesterday because they claim that they have security footage of him stealing boxes. And he's like, that's not me. And they're not believing him. And so he was let go from his job. So he's cranky.
He's having a hard day. And let me tell you, the feeling that of him going into the kitchen, that first of all, that bowl looked like our Blockbuster popcorn bowls, the yellow one.
Oh, I was like, we had that bowl. It is a Tupperware bowl.
Yeah.
Ours was missing the lid as well. And then that also served as the puke bowl if you were sick because it was giant and you could just have it on the side of your bed. So,
I did
uh,
not know that. And now I'm trying to think, did I ever use said
probably
bowl?
not. It didn't come out often at our house. It wasn't used for much other than the puke bowl when we're sick.
So
I
he
remember
gets,
in that scene that he was just pouring that bowl of cereal forever. It's like, is this ever
Forever.
gonna stop? No.
all I think about when I see that scene are my brothers. So I have multiple brothers, as we all, and maybe everybody doesn't know. I have a lot of brothers, but my three of my brothers, when they were growing up, they would come to my apartment and stay with me. I rarely could have all three in my house at the same time because I would have no food. They would eat me out of house and home. And I remember once we were out of milk. I've seen my brothers pour water, orange juice, all sorts of weird shit. I'm like, how? What? It's so nasty. It's like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
It's not fine.
It's not. Also, nothing would piss me off more. Like, I would go in the fridge and there'd be like a swallow of milk. Nothing would make Greg, my dad, go lose his shit. Then why did you even put it back in the fridge? If just finish it. Why? Like why? Why is that in
Yeah.
there? And I never understood why Craig never checked the milk first. And also when he picked it up, he should have felt how
Yes.
little there was in there.
Because you ruined that entire bowl of cereal because you
Yes.
splooshed like a quarter cup of milk on it. So like you can't just put it back in the you either have to eat it just slightly damp or you have to throw it away because you can't save it.
Right. I think people who put milk in first are serial killers. But in this scenario, I actually wouldn't have been as mad because if he had just said, okay, there's not a lot of milk in here, maybe if you pour a little bit of water in there, get some
Hmm.
more, and then pour it, then I would have been, that's the only time I would have been okay with him pouring the milk first.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think you're trying to murder me. That is a clear sign. Mark, you don't pour the milk first, do you?
No,
Okay.
no, 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 no.
Just check it. I gotta make sure.
Well, like
No,
instead
the
of
cereal
doing
has to be completely submerged before I even eat it.
Yes.
yes. And like instead of doing the big bowl, just keep the box with you and the milk with you and pour your bowl and eat it. And then pour more cereal and more milk. That way you don't have like sogginess by the time you get to the bottom of the bowl, too.
Right. Look, I felt for Craig because I know sometimes you just even the night before you're like, oh man, I'm gonna tear up some cereal in the morning. Like you have it in your head, and there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than there's not enough milk with the cereal, or you want leftovers. Like let's say you had food the night before and you're good to go, and some fucker ate it the night before. And if you live with siblings or men, you gotta
Or,
hide that shit. So yeah, Craig ain't got no cereal to eat. And so he's pretty upset. And I think his dad does his dad call him to come into the bathroom?
yeah, so
I just feel like it's such a I don't know if this happens in white families, but it's such a black family experience that your parents are calling you on the toilet to like have full on conversations. And I'm just like, my dad, it would be, he would have the door closed, but he would
yeah.
be talking to us. But my mom, she says we go in there to bother her.
I
Maybe.
no, like when we were growing up, mom had a really big bathroom, and so
That's
she would
true.
have her vanity and stuff, and so it had like a little stool. And so like we'd get home and she'd be in the bathroom, so we just bebop in the bathroom, sit down and like have a little chat while she was on the toilet. Like that's just what you did.
That's true. Because her bathroom had that like you couldn't always I don't think you could always see her completely if you were
No.
yeah. Because I do believe, as an adopted Conley child, that I too had bathroom talks with Miss Terry. So it's all coming back to me.
Yes.
But yeah.
The kids are still young. It's weird if I close the door to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom in my house. It really is. When people come over, I'm like, damn, I gotta close it. All right.
Even like it took Ken a really long time, and like even searching for this most recent house, he's like, I need a water closet. I need to be able to close the door. Now it's just like, no, he leaves the door. He's like, the cats have to be able to come in. Like we have a cat tree in our bathroom because the cats need to be able to sit comfortably
Oh
while
my
we're in
God.
there. And yeah, like I'll just go in and have full on conversations with him now. I'm like, it is what
Yeah,
it is.
I talked to Des and I said, I wonder at what age, I'm guessing when the boys are teenagers and they do teenage stuff in the bathroom, we'll start closing the door.
Yeah.
But
My
until then,
dad,
it's door open policy.
Yep.
my dad made up a song. So sometimes, like, he would always yell at us that we had to make sure that when the toilet paper was out, that we made sure, or if we saw it was coming, like, change it, right?
Hmm.
So sometimes we didn't, and you'd be in the bathroom and you're like, Daddy, I need more toilet paper. And he'd be like, stranded, stranded on the toilet. Like, he made a fucking song and he sang it to all of us, and it would infuriate us because we are just stuck on the fucking toilet, and this man won't pass us some toilet paper. My brothers like crack up singing that song to this day because he did it to all of us, every single one of us stuck. And so that scene where the dad is sitting on the toilet, he's trying to talk to Craig.
And that Glade air freshener, I was like, oh, I smell this scene. Like, we all had that Glade air freshener in our bathrooms.
I love that he's calling Craig to have this conversation, and Craig's like, "Yo, I can wait till you done." He's like, "Nah, come in here, boy." Like he does not care. I also love that Craig talks to his mom because his mom is now cooking a full breakfast, so he's like excited. But I never see Craig actually eat anything, so I don't know if his mom just made it for herself or not. But
She says, because he's all excited and like goes
yeah,
to sit down, and she's like, oh no, I made myself breakfast. And
okay,
he's
yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, she tells him to get cereal, and he tells her that there's no milk, and she tells him to put water on it, I believe.
My
Which
grandma would have.
I've struggled, but I've never really thought about putting water on my cereal.
I
No.
can't do it. My grandma has on occasion told us to use evaporated milk. She thinks there's no difference, and we keep telling her there is. It tastes so nasty. I would have to be in the most dire straits for that situation to happen. But I also love that Craig says to his mom, like, hey, you didn't tell dad about what happened. So now we're learning that, like, Craig got fired or whatever. And she's like, no, sweetie, I would never tell on you. And then when he goes to the bathroom, his dad's like, your mom told me what happened. Like, what the hell?
And then also in the mix, where we meet Craig's younger sister.
Just call her Regina King.
Dana.
Yes.
And one of the opening scenes is like her still sleeping in bed when Craig's waking up, and she's like sleeping propped on her hands because she doesn't want to mess up her hair. And I'm like, I've seen that move before.
I had to do what I had to do. But that is also weird to me because, like, she asked for glue from her mom to like do one of her tracks, and then she's getting braids done the very next day. So I'm like, what was she trying to hold up? I guess maybe just to make this hairstyle last
Through school
through
until she could
school.
get her braids. Yeah.
Yeah. But they have a very brother sister, hate each other, love each other vibes going on.
I love towards the end of the movie where they're all standing out on the porch and she just keeps coming out, Craig, Daddy wants you. And he's like, what now? And he goes inside and comes back out and sits down. He's like, Craig, Daddy wants you again. I was like, bitch, I feel like you're doing this on purpose at this point.
Yeah, she is. And I think every other sister can relate, especially like when your dad isn't harassing you like your brother.
Yes.
But like the mom, you could see the dynamics. His mom like coddles him and is super sweet to him while the dad is riding him. But she's also really nice to the sister. She doesn't seem like she gives her a hard time either.
Yeah. But the dad does say, like, hey, come be a dog catcher with me. I hate it. You will too. And Craig's like, nah, I'm good.
He says you need a trade. Like you
Yeah.
need a real job. He's like, it's real stupid how you get fired on your day off. And he's like, you need a trade. I didn't know dog catching was a trade. That was news to me.
I feel like dog catcher is one of those made up movie.
Is it not a real thing? Like
I don't know.
they're not people. There's
It's
animal control.
animal control with a county is
Yeah,
a
and
pretty damn good
usually
job, I
it's
guess.
Mm.
yeah, because usually you have to call like 311 if you have like an animal that needs to be like picked up and they pass it off to animal control. But animal control doesn't like it's not 24 hours and stuff. So sometimes they're like, you have to wait till Monday or like just take it to the pound, like catch it yourself and take it to the shelter and
Yeah.
stuff. Because I've had to call on like animals I've found and stuff. But I was like,
Well,
this is not what they show me in the movies. In the movies, there is a dedicated dog
dog
catcher
catcher with
man.
a net, Lady and the Tramp, this
Yes.
movie. Like, yes, it really makes you think this is a profession.
Yeah. So now
So,
Dana goes to school. I don't think mom's gone to work yet, but no,
no.
because Smokey shows up.
Yeah, because Craig goes back in his room and here comes fucking Smokey busting his curtains and shit.
And like
Like,
trying to light up in his room, and he's like, my mom is still like, what are you doing? And then even on the porch, Craig's like, can you just please wait till my mom goes to work? Like,
yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah, there's no way. My mom would have bust my ass if I was having anybody or myself smoke any weed in my house
Well,
at all.
and his nickname is Smokey. Like, they don't know what he's up to.
They know. They know what they know all about Smokey.
So
The
then,
dad goes to work already.
yes. Yeah. And then we're kind of introduced to like the cast of characters. We see, oh, what's her name? Nia Long's character jog by.
Yeah. Well, before that we are introduced to I think Joy because she
Yes.
calls to cuss out Craig to ask where the fuck he was, and also that somebody apparently saw him, I think, at the movie theater with somebody. But I'm like, Joy, you got a dude laid up in that fucking bed with you.
Yes.
I
Do as I
That
say,
that
not as
was
I do.
I didn't know that having watched the movie so many damn times until TikTok showed me. And I was like, oh crap, there is a man laying in there while she's accusing Cube of
With Craig's picture on her nightstand.
Paula J, what is it? Paula J. Parker. She definitely played the heck out of that role. I personally think that lady in real life is cray cray. I don't know if there's a reality show with her, Golden Brooks, who was in Beauty Shop that we just
Hmm.
saw, and oh God, Constance Vaughn from Moesha and the Parkers. Like
Hmm.
there's a reality show with them, and it is the most unhinged nonsense ever. Also, the
Neil.
girl, Elise Neal, is in it too, and I'm like, I would be embarrassed to be on this fucking show.
It's called
They,
Hollywood Divas.
yes. If you got time to spare and you ain't got shit else to do, I'll watch it because they're crazy. All right.
So,
So what
so
else?
now, so now they're sitting outside on the porch. Cube does do three whole reps on the bench, and then like that's it for the
That's
day.
it. I love that Smokey. Like everybody's laughing at him from losing this damn job when he
Yeah.
was on his day off. It's
Poor Craig can't catch a break. Like, just let it, like, give him one day to grieve his job.
Mark, how old were you when you first saw this movie?
I actually had to look this up because I was like, I remember the VHS tape having the word Friday, like the font you have behind you.
Hmm.
And I was trying to remember what it like. I could remember the VHS tape, 6 or 7, maybe. I
Damn.
feel like I remember watching it when we lived in the apartment
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Chris and Uncle Will. So yeah, five or six maybe.
Who introduced it to you? Was it your Uncle Chris? Yeah.
I remember it always on, like you said. I remember like
Yeah.
it was on cable television. It was I just the movie Friday was always on something. It seemed like.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark's mouth at that time rivaled anything Smokey would say, so
Yeah, I probably cussed more than this movie did.
yeah.
Honestly, sorry, mom and dad.
We're like, oh, yeah, that's just Mark. Don't worry about it. He learned everything he knows from the movie Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So now, who else are we introduced to? We get that weird flashback of Deebo stealing Red's bike.
Yeah. Deebo.
Um,
Jesus.
I feel
Deebo
like
is
we
a
got introduced
bully.
in the first like right when they get on the porch. It seemed like we were just introduced to like one character after another. It was like
Yeah.
Miss Parker, and then the guy next door that keep off the lawn, and it was like it almost seemed like how do you keep up with the characters? They're so
Yeah.
memorable though,
Yeah.
but I feel like that first like 20 minutes of the movie, not even when they're on the porch, you just get boom character, boom character, boom character. It's like holy crap.
Yeah, because and I think what ends up happening is like you're seeing it's the neighborhood, right? Like,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
what's so funny is that every neighborhood has these kind of characters, right? Like you've got the next door neighbor who is fucking paranoid. I don't know what his deal is, Stanley. He is paranoid, bougie. His ass is way too bougie in that neighborhood. And what I never understand is that the way that you heard Deebo and Smokey when they broke into his house, how much shit was breaking, how he never realized that they went into his house and didn't yell at them.
I mean, I
I
wouldn't be yelling at Deebo.
well, maybe not Deebo, but definitely Smokey and Craig. Like y'all sat there and, you know, didn't do any, like, I don't know. I
Yeah,
was just thought that was weird. So we meet him, the neighbor. We see the lady across the street who is, as we said, watering
Mrs.
dirt,
Parker.
Mrs. Parker.
I do like that you see like that they all do take pride in their homes and stuff, and like she's out watering her dirt in her one plant, and he's like, keep off my lawn, and like
Yeah.
like it's just a neighborhood. It just happens to be in a location that
It's
suffers
just
from gun violence sometimes, but it's still a neighborhood, and they all are a community together, and for better or worse, kind of look out for each other in different ways and interact with each other on a daily basis.
I also think some of it is like there's some generational stuff
Hmm.
overlapping there too, right? Because you have to remember, like, we're getting the Gen X kids living or whatever, but a lot of the baby boomers that were still, still alive that didn't have, go through they've survived the 80s crack epidemic or whatnot,
Hmm.
AIDS, like all the things that were plaguing the Black community and were able to survive. So you have, Gen X or late baby boomers dealing with that shit, and you still have some of the older baby boomers who very much like taught. My grandma always said, like, no matter where we came from, how poor we may be, you always take pride in your home where you live, you
Hmm.
keep it clean. It may not be like the richest thing. And there are a lot of people in different communities, whether they have money or not, who really upkept that. But I think like where we get to the scene of the dad saying, you kids want to use guns and stuff like that. When we had to deal with stuff, we used our fists. We fought it out and we kept it moving. So I think it's like very different generations like coinciding and kind of living all in that same scenario. He's saying this to Craig, but not understanding the pressures and the life of that's happening. It's very easy for his dad to just say, don't do this, when Craig and I think a lot of men are socialized to be a certain way, what it looks like to be a man. And we have to understand Craig is, you know, not all of the people like had a male figure in the home. So a lot of these young boys were looking at different situations of like, how do I be a man? How do I show up as a man? What does that look like? And sometimes that was being violent or, going into gangs for protection, whatever it may be. This is the
Selling
outcome of
drugs
that.
for money because that
Right.
was,
It's what
yeah,
you had to survive. Like
yeah.
you might not have the same kind of options or opportunities or someone looking out for you to make sure you can go to school and prosper. You're dealing with it. Again,
Mhm.
that generation. If you are a Gen Xer and your parent was strung out on drugs themselves, you got to figure out shit on how to survive and live.
Yep.
So, and you might be being raised by your grandparent who's just trying to, it's like so much stuff that you can kind of just see in this movie. Because you look at Debbie and her sister. Her sister is a fucking strung out drug addict, but her
Mhm.
mom, where is she? She's in fucking Vegas. Yeah, Felicia.
Yeah.
She out in like Vegas with a man. So clearly these two girls, they're developing very differently, but they're very close sisters and their experience is totally different. And you can hear from Debbie in her speech to what's his face, Deebo at the end. She's having to stick up for herself because she doesn't have like a male figure in her life, uh, like a father who would have
Mhm.
been up in Debo's face and the way that he beat up her sister. So like you see those dynamics. My long-winded way to say that.
Yep. We are also, who else do we see? Yeah, we get introduced to Felicia. She's just trying to get whatever she can. Like she's asking for weed, she's asking for money, like just kind of whatever she can get. We get the infamous bye, Felicia.
It's just so weird because like obviously it's a quotable line, but I don't know how it blew up like in this time period. This movie's been out for so long. I I never knew how it went to where like white people are saying it and then it's cringe, but like
Well, and
I
I thought it would be like, because we really don't see much of Felicia other than this scene and then the scene with Deebo. She might be like in the background of other scenes, but I thought it was going to be like a recurring joke. Like the Go Home Roger from Sister Sister.
yeah,
I thought it was going to be like that, where it's like, oh, they just say it once in this movie. That's it.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
again, it's almost like a throwaway line. So
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what's happening? I know where it's from, but like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, so yeah, we met her. We do end up leaving Craig's house at some point and going over to Smokey's house. So now you're seeing Smokey's situation. He has now forgotten his key. So he's banging on the door and his mom opens the door. And like the way that he speaks to his mom is
Mm.
interesting. He tells his mom like the way that they're fighting is I was like, I would never be able to talk to my mom that way. And it's such a stark difference with Smokey talking to his mom in comparison to how Craig is with his mom. Like, Craig would never talk to his mom crazy like this. And
Mhm.
he's like, you should be cooking, you should be doing something. And I'm like, you don't do shit.
You smoked all the weed you were supposed to sell. You couldn't even do that correctly.
And Smokey needs to go to rehab.
And like what so Craig is 24, so Smokey's probably around the same age, maybe a little bit younger. Like, bro, you to be young, you're too young to be just getting high all day and smoking the supply and like not
Well,
trying to better your life, you know?
he's not even getting fully high anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like not having the same effect. I think that's why he's smoking as much as he's smoking because he smokes so goddamn much, he doesn't feel anything.
And then we go back to Craig's house and Craig doesn't usually smoke and Smokey's like, "Hey, like you got laid off, you're having a bad day, just smoke this." So Craig does. And now he's just stoned out of his mind and so kind of which allows Smokey to lead the charge of the day, which Smokey should never be in charge of the day.
When we would watch this movie with my dad, he would always try to like put life lessons and shit. And so he would say to us, like, any one of your friends that are super adamant, even after you say no about doing anything,
Mhm.
don't trust that person. Like, they have no good intentions for you. Like, getting Craig to smoke was like an excuse for Smokey to continue to smoke his own shit and add Craig to the trouble. Like,
Yeah.
why would you tell this man that Craig also was smoking? That is not a quality ass friend. Like, you're making real dumb decisions here.
Yeah, because Big Worm shows up and is like, bitch better have my money. And Smokey's like, oh yeah, Craig and I. And it's like, Craig and I what? Because, like, he was
Right.
minding his business. Up until yesterday, he had a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is what causes the conundrum. You can't have
Yeah,
like just this Friday of doing nothing. Like, there has to be
something.
something to the plot to keep it moving. So
Yeah.
we've had a few Deebo crossings because at this point you see Deebo come with his bike, well, actually Red's bike that he
Hmm.
has stolen, and they have to hide their jewelry. It's gotten so pop, like it's such a pop culture moment that people with kids on TikTok and on Instagram make videos of their kids coming slowly into the room and they're hiding food and stuff. And I love those videos so much. And they play the like the whole thing of like Debo coming, Debo here, like, and then you see a little kid looking. But that is true. If you've ever been with a crumb snatcher toddler, you can't eat nothing without them trying to eat your food. You
Mm.
gotta hide.
I mean, it was. There were no screens when Willow, especially when she was younger, when Willow was awake. It's always like as soon as she went down for a nap, we were like pulling out our devices. We were turning on the TV. We're like, yes. And then we're like, oh, she's up, she's up. And we'd like be turning everything back off and stuff. And sometimes she'd be like, what's she watching? And we're like, nothing. We're not watching anything. We don't know what you're talking about. I
Oh
feel
man,
that.
what you're eating, whatever. Like Serena and Christian, when we go to the movies, I was very particular. I would say when we got to the concession stand, what do you guys want? I didn't mind sharing popcorn because I could get them a little container. I'd get them a little nachos container and I'd pour it into theirs so that they would have it, right? But when it came to drinks, you
Mm.
have to get your own. There ain't no way. Somebody said you'd have to put a gun to my head before I would drink anything out of a toddler's juice. They've got a chewed up French fry from 2 days ago up
Hmm.
in that shit. They're backwash. Like, have you ever seen a kid with a straw? It gives me such palpitations. Like, oh no. And Serena would get so offended, so upset with me. Even to this day, she's not even a toddler. I was like, I don't share with you. I don't share with you when it comes to drinks. Because y'all be doing some stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind the kids too much with like straws and stuff. Usually they get their own drinks anyway.
Hmm.
But my thing is like any like little soda, like the little small little opening, because that's like for sure like they don't have the understanding
Right.
of how you're supposed to put your lips with a small opening. So yeah, that's for sure going in and coming right back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours now, buddy. It's yours now. You can have it.
Yeah, my mom was very strict about like she set a boundary when even when I was growing up, like she wasn't just because she had food, she ain't sharing with me. And kids really think that is your job to give them your food. And I'm like, damn it, you have nothing.
Yeah, yep, yep.
So here comes Deebo. They have to hide their jewelry. So we have
Hmm.
that happen. And then Deebo makes Smokey go into I think it's Stanley's house trying to break in there
Hmm.
and I think Deebo finds $200, right? So we've got that number in our head, the magic number of $200. But he does not share anything with Smokey, and they didn't steal anything else because they spent the whole time arguing with each other. We also learned that Smokey is on probation. God knows what he did. And then at some point before Craig's mom left, she told him about his girlfriend because she keeps calling the house and hanging up every time the mom answers. She also calls and hangs up when Craig answers, which I
Yeah,
don't understand
it,
why she
sh
does that.
she's erratic.
And this is important because as Smokey and Deebo
Craig.
are
Oh,
in the
Devo, sorry.
house, Craig is watching something else unfold because we meet Bernie Mac's character, who is the pastor. Every time I see him on screen, it just makes my heart hurt that he's not here anymore. So he comes in as the pastor, and when he sees Miss Parker, he beelines over to her, and they go into his house. And so Craig is literally watching this shit unfold because guess what? Miss Parker's husband comes home early, and he has to go in, and there's all this stuff. So Craig is like, this movie is the epitome of men love gossip too. Okay?
Hmm.
Because all these motherfuckers are doing on the fucking patio, on the porch, is gossiping.
Yeah.
They're gossiping the whole time. But, men would never frame it that way.
And Mr. Parker is played by Tony Cox, who is a little person. He's in Big Santa as well. I was like, oh, Tony
Bad
showed up in
Santa.
this movie.
Yeah. I love him. So then you see the pastor running out, trying to get out before he catches him. So all while this is happening, because also Craig is supposed to be keeping watch, that's when his girlfriend calls and he goes to pick up the phone and she hangs up. And when he comes back out, Stanley has come home, so now he's whistling to get these two other idiots out. So that whole dilemma happens. And I think the second time Deebo comes back, now Red is there with them and he wasn't quick enough. Instead of taking his chain off, he decides to tuck it in as if Deebo can't see that shit.
Yeah. Like pop your collar or something. Like
Right.
I could see it.
And also at this point, Red has these glasses on because of the last time Deebo rocked his shit. And when he takes off his glasses, this is the scene where you see behind Jackie when he's like, damn.
Damn.
I wonder if they practiced doing it that way because it was just so animated and fun. And then at some point, Lisa stops by, right? Oh, that's not her name. That's her name from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Debbie.
Debbie, yeah.
Debbie comes by, and we could see that Craig has a crush on Debbie. Debbie is actually friends with his sister Dana, and she comes to see Dana, but at this point, Smokey has convinced Craig to smoke weed.
Yes.
So he's a little high. And Dana, not Dana, Debbie has told Smokey she has a friend for him that she wants to hook him up with. Now, was the response to Smokey seeing Debbie's friend fat phobic as fuck? Yes. But was Debbie fucking wrong?
Also, yes.
Absolutely. Like,
Well, to not for Debbie to not maybe give context or describe her friend for Smokey and let the friend describe herself as Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Misleading.
like out of all the people, girl, we all want to live in the Delulu, but that was a bit much.
Yeah.
So Smokey is cheesing and caking on the phone with old girl, getting to know her, while now Debbie is on the couch, and Debbie ain't missing the allegations that she into Craig her damn self.
Hmm.
Which also I feel like Debbie is wearing a shirt that Ty wore in Clueless, and I have to triple check that.
Well, and then like what happens? Does Big Worm show up again and that or does Debbie just have to go and so she pieces out?
Debbie leaves, and you notice as Debbie's leaving, she doesn't have her bag, so
Hmm.
she leaves, and she does end up coming back because she forgot her bag, and that's when Craig's girlfriend
Joy
shows
is
up.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and her ass, her crazy ass, and I love that Hoochie Mama comes on, that she's literally play. That's her fucking anthem right there. And
And in the meantime, at some point, oh, Big Worm shows up again in the ice cream truck,
yes,
which I was very excited about because one of my favorite like core memories of Mark is us at our grandparents' house. He was probably like 4, and the ice cream truck like was like we didn't make it outside in time. And he like for a quarter mile just ran after the ice cream truck full tilt, just like ice cream truck, just like he was gone. And I like it is one of my favorite memories. And we're just like, Mark, come back. But he had zeroed in. He wanted some ice cream.
Oh
I was
gosh.
talking to Shayla the other day saying that one of the things that made me so sad about when I moved to Florida that there were no ice cream trucks, right? Like I think someone had told me that because they were like selling drugs and stuff, so they had stopped it. And Shayla looked at me. Well, we were on the phone. She just said, "What are you talking about? There were ice cream trucks." So apparently in Delray there was ice cream trucks, but down in Coral Springs, bitch ass, we didn't have ice cream trucks, which I fundamentally think in Florida that makes no sense.
Yeah.
They are up and down the streets of New York.
California too. We always had ice cream trucks. In Fremont, we had them. In Stockton, we had them. Like anywhere we were, there were ice cream trucks.
Bring back ice cream trucks to the rich neighborhoods. There are poor children that need it. Thank you.
We don't have a box of push-ups in our freezer. We need
Fucking
to buy it for $1 from the ice cream man.
right. Fucking Coral Springs and their bullshit. It didn't make sense. Coral Springs was always so strict about everything.
Mm.
Anywho, so that was a
This scene,
learning.
this scene, this scene with the ice cream truck is still. I think about it all the time. We get the kids the little variety pack of chips, and
Hmm.
one of the flavors that nobody likes are chili cheese Fritos, and that's what the kid ordered, and Big Worm didn't give it to him. So anytime I'm in that bottom of that little box of the chip that nobody likes, and there's chili cheese Fritos, I think of Big Worm.
Yes, every time we get those variety, like nobody wants the regular Fritos or the chili. Well, J Jackie, do you like those? I feel like you guys
I
used to have
love,
Fritos.
oh yeah, I love a Frito.
A good corn chip? Oh
Um,
yeah, some
yeah,
dip.
yeah. No, like I literally said out loud when that kid ordered chili cheese Fritos, I'm like, who eats chili cheese Fritos? Like I talk to the TV because everyone knows if you're not going to get the original Fritos, you
Right.
get the barbecue twists because
Yes,
those are
you did
fucking
like those.
delicious.
I
Mhm.
never loved those, but I did eat them on occasion at your house. I rather eat something else if I
Yeah.
had a choice. It's like the last option where you have no more chips left.
Yeah. And I feel like if this movie was made today, that kid would be ordering Takis.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So Smokey pushes his way through the crowd of tiny humans, including tiny Megan Good in her backwards baseball cap. And he's talking to Big Worm. This is where we get the accidental "What's up, Big Perm?" And it was a blooper, but they left it in.
I know that wig had to be hot with them fucking rollers in it.
Mm.
Not even a soft roller, hard rollers. Why are you wearing hard rollers? It was
Choices
a,
were made.
it was a fashion choice for sure. Yeah, 100%.
And Big Worm is offended by the big perm, and I'm like, I feel like that's an upgrade from Big Worm, but whatever, you do you.
Right.
And he's like, well, you and Craig are dead if I don't have my money, my $200 by 10 p.m. tonight. Good
Right.
day. And then just like no one's getting ice cream and takes off.
When when Smokey goes to count them fucking bills, right? He pulls out this money and he's like 20, 40, 60. It gets to 100, and this motherfucker tries to flip the bills over as if this man can't see it to count them again to make the $200. So the thing is, they kept on saying they needed $200. No, Smokey has $100. So that means you only need another
Yeah.
$100.
But everyone keeps asking for $200.
Right. I don't understand.
Because Craig goes to his sister and asks for
Right.
money. He goes to his dad and asks for money. His dad comes home early because he's been bit in the ass by a dog. And so I guess to add I to torture himself further, he watches a show about dogs attacking dog catchers. And he's
Like,
like,
where is this show on
I don't know.
basic cable? Like, where did he find this show?
And then
Give
he's
me a
like, Craig,
break.
give me some ice water. And so Craig goes to the fridge and he's getting ice water for his dad. And he drops an ice cube on the ground and picks it up and breaks the fourth wall and just goes, huh. And then puts it in the cup and gives it to his dad. And his dad's like,
But that felt so real. Like, have you
yeah.
ever been eating something or drinking something? You're like, you should be like, I should stop drinking this, but you're like, okay. And you keep going. His dad didn't give a damn.
Did not. So now we have until, oh, and then Craig's mom gets home and he's like, Mom, I need to borrow $200. And she's like, no, you need to get a job. He's like, if I had a job, I wouldn't need the $200.
Right.
And she's
But
like, sorry.
his crazy ass girlfriend, she does say yes
hmm
to giving him the money. And he's so close. And I don't know why he didn't just ignore Felicia and just kept talking to his girlfriend. But the
Yeah.
moment he turns around, she loses her shit and she leaves him, puts
Mm.
back Hoochie Mamas, and she out.
You know, I was thinking when I was looking up this movie again, I was like, he got fired for stealing boxes when he went to pick up his paycheck. What did he do with his paycheck?
Oh,
Oh, it's true.
look
He
at
went to go
Mark
pick up his
putting the pieces together.
Well, yeah, because I was like, they're asking for money, but he went to go pick up his paycheck, and then
Right.
that's one of those things where it's like I didn't realize that his girlfriend had another man in the bed the whole time. So.
And then we also see it's probably about 8 p.m. So Smokey's lady friend rolls up and she's like wearing one of those hats that has braids attached to it. And she's just she's a thick girl, but she did not disclose that on the phone, and so Smokey throws a fit about that.
Janet Jackson's body changes a lot.
Truth.
So it's not, maybe at that time, because I don't think we ever saw that scale of
hmm
thickness from Janet Jackson. But I'm just saying, it's there's a scale. She's been all over
Well,
the
and maybe
place.
it was I look like Janet Jackson in the face.
She
You
did
know,
not though.
I
He
I
was out here lying.
agreed.
I don't know why I'm even trying to defend her. She lying.
So now
But
it's
the way he said anything
yeah.
to her was so fucking rude.
Oh, it's so rude. And so now it's around 8:30, and we find out that Felicia is sleeping with Deebo. And so
Yeah,
Smokey's like, "Oh, Deebo has that $200 from earlier. I'm going to sneak into his house and steal it from him to pay Big Worm." And
right.
so he sneaks in, and this whole scene, number one, stresses me out because I'm like, Smokey, he will kill you without like batting an eye. He like literally in his sleep like rolls Felicia off the bed, and then Smokey's going in, and this man's shit-stained undies are on top of his pants that have his wallet in them.
Oh God.
And Smokey's trying to move the undies using a straw he got from a cup on the nightstand. Accidentally dropped them on Devo's face at one point. Rustles around. Does he actually steal the money or?
No, he can't get to it because
Oh,
what's his face? He
yeah,
comes into the window. Like,
he's all
get
right.
a crackhead can't leave the windows open because a
No.
crackhead's gonna crawl the fuck in. And
Uh,
there's a scene where they say like you can't catch a crackhead, and let me tell you, that shit ain't no lie. Okay? If we ever wanted a super Olympic team, just fucking give them crack. I remember, I'm not gonna tell the whole story because I swore to another friend we would never talk about this publicly, but I I was in a situation and
what had
with a
happened
man.
was,
Right. I was in a situation with a man, and let's say we were doing a few stops with certain things, and somebody owed him money for whatever reasons, services. And he literally tried to chase that crackhead, and I've never seen anyone run so fucking fast in my life. And then there was a second instance where we ran into the same said crackhead, and this motherfucker climbed a tree. I thought I was watching a live in the wild animal. So yes, there's no point in trying to catch a crackhead if they owe you money or anything. They just let them go because you're gonna be tired.
mm, yeah,
Just a
Yeah,
that
life
Ezel's
lesson.
role, he almost seemed like he was there to spoil any bit of pleasure or anything that Smokey would get. I mean,
yeah,
he interrupted his shit on side of the house earlier in the
the
movie
shit.
Yes.
and promised not to tell anybody else but the whole neighborhood. And the slip and fall in the store.
Yes, we forgot about the store because Smokey's
Yes,
mom sent him to the store.
to get some humps.
Yes. And she gave him $1, and he's like, "This is not enough." And this is a quotable line. And I swear, every black person, you better make it enough. Like, look, okay, sure.
Yeah, and so I think we see, I think his name is Al.
Yeah. Yeah,
This is
something like
one of the first scenes, and he's like literally sleeping on the sidewalk until like a car rolls up, and then he's like washing windows to try and get money
that.
from passing by cars. And then we go into the black-owned convenience store, and maybe it's owned by black people, and they just
It's
employ this Chinese man or this Asian man, but it doesn't seem like it's a black-owned business.
it's not, but I think this is like a way to kind of talk about what the like in LA especially, we know that there are a lot of different ethnicities and groups communities next to each other. And there is a close relationship with the Black and Asian and Latino community at times, but there's also a lot of friction. And I think for a lot of Black people and Black communities, it is the only place that you see other communities being able to have the opportunity to build their own businesses. So you're seeing a lot of Asian, Arab, Hispanic, like Latin people having their businesses in Black communities. And that's it is by design that there were a lot of like government laws that made that happen, but that causes a lot of friction with that shit. So I think just that scene is kind of like, you remember when we were watching that the other movie where it's like message, that is, I feel,
Mm-hmm.
why it's like funny because this shit is like a real scenario.
Yeah.
That's how I interpreted it, at least.
And gone. I had something to add, and now it's left me.
You mentioned that part where Ezel jumped up off the cement and wanted to wash windows. Credit to him, at least he was, because he told Smokey he would clean up that shit for $5. So at least he was hustling and doing it right, not trying
Yeah.
to
Right.
really,
Very true.
shout out to Ezel, hardworking man.
A little bit of strange for a little bit of change.
So now we are at, I believe, so yeah, Ezel foils Smokey's plan, so they have to jump out the window. At this point, Deebo thinks Felicia has tried to steal from him and gives her a black eye, and that comes back into play after the drive-by scene. So now it's 10. They don't have the money, and now like Big Worm has sent a van full of guys to go and shoot up Craig's house. And so they're running from them. I think it's brilliant that they laid in a bed of the truck. I was like, wow, that's quick thinking on your feet, boys. In a situation that could have been 100% avoided, but
Right.
I digress. So after the van leaves, they're walking back to the house, and this is when we see there's a commotion in the streets because Deebo has given Felicia a black eye. Debbie is pissed, and she's going at like laying into him is like, I am not afraid of you. Like, you don't hit women, and you're lucky that I'm not a guy because I'd knock you the fuck out.
Right. She's the only one, because everybody in the neighborhood has let Debo be a fucking bully.
Yeah.
And Craig's dad was right. Like, yeah, you might get your shit rocked, but you should at least stick up for yourself? And it's not until Debo actually fucking hits Debbie that all of a sudden Craig's got cojones and they go at it, but he pulls out a gun. Now, one of the other scenes, Craig's dad catches him with a gun, and his dad is like, the I loved how his dad responded.
Hmm.
Like his dad didn't freak out and yell at him and all this other stuff. He spoke to him calmly. He didn't even say, "Get this thing out of my house," whatever. He just was like, this isn't going to help. This isn't doing anything for you. Like, this isn't going to make you quote unquote safe per se.
Hmm.
And so they have like a really deep conversation. And I really loved that scene a lot because it was a contrast to, even Boys in the Hood. It's like in Boys in the Hood with the dad in that movie, his dad was like he would beat his ass if he saw something like that. So it was just like a softer way to have that conversation, but to also see like two Black men, a father and son, have a real conversation about what it is to be a man. And his dad didn't just yell at him. And I really liked that there was actual communication happening in that
Yeah.
scene. And I also like that when he was fighting Debo and his mom wanted to step in and she had that gun in her screams at one point.
You
Like
don't
she
mess
was
with a mama's baby.
she was about to fuck his ass up. And the dad had told him like put that gun away. So like he talks to him again, talks him down. He's like, "All right, just give me the gun, give me the gun." So he gives him the gun and they fight for real. But he also is like telling the mom, "You've got to let him do this. You got to let him handle this. You can't take care of this." So that was like a really good, I thought, the way that the dad handled it.
Yeah. So in this fight with Deebo and Craig gets a few good punches in, and then
Yeah.
Deebo just fucking whoops the shit out of him.
I
And
felt so bad for Smokey's car because that thing's hanging on by a fucking thread, and now you got Craig's ass on it getting choked out. It's like that car ain't gonna make it.
I'm trying to find, it is a 1976 Ford Pinto, by the
Oh,
way.
is it a pin? It's a Pinto.
It's a Pinto.
I thought it
What?
was something else.
And so, yeah, Craig is laying on the lawn, and everyone's like, "Get up!" And that's when his dad gives him this really encouraging speech, like, "You need to get up and finish this," and blah blah blah. So Craig somehow finds a 2x4 in the trash, and
Yes, and
and starts beating Deebo with it, and then Deebo kind of fights back, and it's this back and forth. But then Craig grabs a brick and
yeah,
just fucking wails on him.
Christine wasn't wrong. You better get a brick.
And that was when I thought like, oh, those are like the tools I thought about using when I was in the classroom if like shit went down. It's like, okay, we're not allowed to have weapons, but I can freeze a water bottle and put it in a sock and beat someone up with it.
Right.
Like I was getting real creative with shit.
Yeah, and the you've got to know what arteries are.
Yep, I had scissors.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me tell you, punch a bitch in the throat real quick out of nowhere and they don't see it coming, that knocked the wind out of them real quick to give
Yep.
you some time because they're so yeah. Yeah. Just saying. I've never done that. Just saying.
So Craig eventually wins the fight, knocks Deebo the fuck out, knocks him down a peg. The whole neighborhood is witness that Deebo can be beat and
Yeah.
that Craig earned big
Street
street
neighborhood
cred.
cred.
Yeah.
You got knocked the fuck out. And that's when Smokey steals the $200
Yes.
and he calls Big Worm, or is it Big
Big
Worm?
worm. Yeah.
He calls him, he's like, "Why are you trying to shoot me? Like, how are we having a logical conversation after this man sent a fucking black ops van to shoot your ass out? Not with a gun, but with like
Like
machine
semi-automatic
guns."
automatic weapons. Yeah.
What was crazy about that is that his parent, like everyone just came out and was like, "What was that? Like, y'all ain't, what do you
You have
mean?"
bullet holes in your house now.
Right. It's wild.
Yeah. So, yeah, Big Worm is settled up. Debbie, very impressed on
Oh
her
yeah.
honor and Felicia's honor.
What time are you waking up tomorrow, Craig?
8:30. Make it 7:30.
Well,
I'm
expect a
sorry.
call from me. What?
It's the weekend. Who's getting up at 7:30 unless you have kids?
Right. But he is happy as fuck.
Yeah.
And
He's
his
like,
girlfriend calls and he settles that shit real quick. He breaks up with her
yep.
because now he got a new bitch.
And then the very end of the movie is Smokey like speaking directly to the camera and is like, I'm going to rehab. Night.
Well, he was telling Big Worm he's like, I'm done with you. I'm not selling drugs anymore. I'm going to rehab. And then when he hangs up, he's like, nah. And he starts smoking.
Yeah. And then it ends on a classic night, like mid-90s freeze frame. I'm like, why did all these filmmakers think that a freeze frame was the thing to do? I don't get it. But
Somebody did it once, and that was it. I
yeah.
like that.
But that is Friday.
Let's see if there's any fun facts. So, the neighborhood in which Friday is set is the same South Central Los Angeles area in which F. Gary Gray spent his childhood. Principal houses that were used for filming were houses of old friends of Gray. The scene where Deebo punches Red, causing him to fly through the air, is Gray's childhood home. And the film was shot on 126th Street and Normandy in South Central Los Angeles, known territory of the Crips Street Gang.
So, like we had mentioned before, a lot of the cast has been either past or present in other features together. So, Ice Cube and Nia Long appeared in Boys in the Hood, Are We There Yet? And Are We Done Yet? In addition to Friday. Chris Tucker and Tom Lister Jr. both appeared a couple years later in The Fifth Element. And Ice Cube and Regina King appeared in Boys in the Hood and Higher Learning.
I love that in a the flashback scene where you see Smokey sitting in the lowrider. We don't talk about Hector. So Hector is another neighborhood character who gets Smokey high on angel dust, which that scene always cracks me up. So when they're in that scene with his friend, you could see two men sitting on the block wall in the background. They were residents of the neighborhood who were like completely uncooperative when the production staff was like requesting, you know, for them not to be in the scene. And they were like, you can't tell us what to do on our property. So despite them being offered compensation or even a walk-on role, they would not move out of the shot. I love that for them.
Yeah. This is our neighborhood. We're going to do what we want.
The clothes that Ice Cube wears at the beginning and end of this movie are the same clothes he wore at the end of Boys in the Hood.
I like
Oh,
that he did a
okay.
little throwback.
Oh, that's a sad one.
Yeah, as I was watching it, because I had never seen it before, I was just noticing the people in this movie who have since passed away. And there are 8 of the cast members as of October 2022. LaWanda Page, Bernie Mac, Yvette Wilson, Michael Clark Duncan, Ronaldo Ray, John Witherspoon, Tom Lister Jr., and Anthony Johnson.
And it says it does not count Justin Pierce and Jennifer Eccles, who were in the sequels, who also passed. Ice Cube, Bernie Mac, Anthony Johnson, Tommy Lister Jr., Faison Love, Ron Reiser, and Michael Clark Duncan, they all appeared in Players Club, which was also written and directed by Ice Cube. Yay, yay. We clubbing. I love that song so much. What else? I think
And then in
we
a
got all of
deleted
it.
in the deleted scene, I don't know, I don't remember if we talked about this already, but
Hmm.
in a deleted scene at the beginning of the credits, Izal is seen running down the street carrying boxes. These are the boxes that Craig gets falsely accused of stealing from his job and is subsequently fired on his day off.
He's literally like Gilligan from Gilligan's Island, stopping both of these men from living great lives.
Yeah.
And he looks nothing like Craig. So how the fuck? Because like even Red said, we saw the tape of you stealing the boxes and we laughed at it at work all fucking day. And I'm just like, how did y'all not know who that
Because
was?
like Craig is like
Much
stocky.
much bigger and has clean clothes on. How
Yeah.
about that?
They didn't look too hard. They just needed someone to blame.
Anyway, if you have any commentary or feedback, if you love a favorite line in the movie, hit us up at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Threads, and Blue Sky, and let us know, and we'll share it on a future episode. Now let's get into present day ratings. Mark, after rewatching this movie, what's your rating?
It would be the same. Would buy it again. For sure.
Jackie, now that you have watched this classic, where would you rate it?
I'm gonna go 5 day. I don't have the nostalgia, but I did laugh a lot.
Okay.
Danielle?
Again, I'm keeping all the cards, and it is a would buy. I legit laughed so much rewatching this movie. It's so good. It never gets old, literally.
Well, if you have anything to add to the conversation, hit us up at our quick drop 909-601-6653. Twat us at the Twitters, have us at threads, butterfly in the sky at Blue Skies, and you could be featured on a future episode.
And join us next week as we honor the legend of Tommy Callahan, salesman, screw up, and certified icon with 1995's Tommy Boy. That's going to be a very interesting one for me.
I'm excited. And Mark, a pleasure as always. We're so happy to have you join us for Friday, and I can't wait for our next movie together.
Yeah, thank you guys. So glad I was able to do this for you guys at home watching. Happy 420. Enjoy yourself. Be safe.
And as always, be kind and rewind. Bye, Felicia.
No, no.